Hey guys, welcome to another interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we are back with a Zeri updated complete guide, of course for patch 5.2c. Okay, but obviously now the main change is going to be lethal tempo, but before we really get into it, of course, don't forget to check out Zeri's basic guide I'll put up in the cards above for skills, leveling order, tips and tricks, as well as some combos. But as I was saying, the main change is really lethal tempo and immoral shield bow, but we'll get straight into it. So first up, for our build, we're going to start off with the Gluttonous Greaves for the AD and the Omnivamp. No surprise there, and also no surprise, first item is going to be Bloodthirster for the physical vamp, as well as, of course, all the good stats, the high AD and the extra stats when you're high on health. So, next up, we're going to go for Runan's Hurricane. So Runan's Hurricane, of course, is very essential on Zeri, because Zeri can only hit the first target, and that's normally not the target you want. So you want to go for Runan's Hurricane to get the extra attack speed, as well as, of course, attacking 3 people at the same time, also proccing your on-hit effects, and also gaining a little bit of AD. Yeah, just basically overall is a very, very core item in Zeri. Now, we have had Zeri builds that don't have Runan's Hurricane, that still work, but overall, I just feel that if Zeri has Runan's Hurricane, it's always just going to be better, just because Runan's is such a good item on Zeri. So next up, we're going to go for Shield Bow. Now, I always felt that Shield Bow was a very good item in Zeri, because Zeri is one of those ADCs that doesn't have a very long range, and you kind of need to be relatively close to the enemies, so having an extra shield when you get low on health is always going to be, you know, very useful. And of course now you have the shield that scales off of your level, so you know, it's gonna work out quite well as well. Now I will say that there is an alternative build, which is of course to go for the old kind of build, which is going to go for this kind of build. So you're going to go Bloodthirster into Charge Blade into Runan's Hurricane. This works as well. So overall, the main difference between the Shield Bow build and this build obviously is the fact that with this build, you're going for more damage. So with the Charge Blade, you will of course get that extra magic damage, and you will of course be able to proc this very easily. Also gives you a very nice damage mix, so this gives you more damage as well as, you know, extra magic damage. And of course you have attack speed from here, as well as from lethal tempo, so your attack speed is going to get converted into attack damage. So the overall attack damage is only going to be, I believe it's slightly lower than if you go for Shield Bow. I have tried it on the practice tool, so you can go for this if you want pure damage, but if you want survivability, you can go for the Shield Bow, which you could have always gone for previously anyway. So it's kind of a little bit of preference as to which one is better for you, but most of the time I prefer to go more defensive. I prefer to go Shield Bow. So next up we go for Infinity Edge, you know, huge injection of AD, as well as of course getting you the bonus crit damage. And finally, of course, we have Mold Reminder for the Armor Pen and the Grievous Wounds. So for the runes on Zeri, pretty much you're always going to be taking lethal tempo. Now the bonus range on lethal tempo is really huge. Now I do think that pretty much every ADC is going to be taking lethal tempo, because range on ADCs is such a big deal. Like just standing that little bit further back puts you further away from, you know, enemy CC, away from enemy spells, and extra range is just always going to be important. I think the only chance you have of playing Conqueror is on very specific champions, and actually Zeri is one of those specific champions that Conqueror might be better, might be viable. The other one being other champions like Kai'Sa or Xayah, but you know, we'll talk about that on a separate occasion. But I think in general lethal tempo is going to be better for the attack speed. Of course we have, sorry, not attack speed but attack range. So we have Brutal because we auto attack a lot as an ADC, Giant Slayer of course because we want to counter the tanks, and here we actually have you can either go for Bloodline or you can go for Alacrity here. Both works, but obviously you have a lot of attack speed already, so I like to go for Bloodline. And here we have Bone Plating, which of course is going to help you with defensively. And for the spells, you go for Flash together with Ghost most of the time, or Exhaust if you really need it. But Ghost of course is amazing for Zeri, who loves mobility. But with all that said, let's hop into our gameplay. Okay. So now moving into the gameplay section of the video, of course as usual, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Any questions, queries or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and of course be sure to address them. Okay, so now Zeri, very briefly, the supports you kind of like to play with are the supports that can buff you up. So Lulu and Yuumi are of course best. Of course she was really well with the new support Milio as well. Milio is on the enemy team with Jinx, so that is pretty scary, because Milio is sort of like a little bit of a similar to Lulu kind of champion. I mean, your W is a shield. Of course, your E is a shield. Your W is kind of a a range buff as well as a heal. So very similar to kind of Lulu, and your Q is kind of damage, and your ult is that huge heal plus cleanse, which is a little bit different from Lulu's ult, which of course gives you health and a knock-up. But I think Milio is pretty similar to Lulu. Of course, the main difference is giving that extra range with his W, like what he's doing here. Here, beautiful bubble by Nanami. We dash forward and we're blasting, and we get exhausted by the Milio, so we're gonna have to walk away because obviously we can't win the trade if we get exhausted. So here we're just taking the fruit, leaving one for our Nami, because Nami can obviously use her mana to cast W and heal us, so giving her fruit is great. Now Jinx has somehow managed to spam so much of her rockets that she actually has almost no mana, which basically means her range is going to be a lot shorter than what it could have been. So we are actually trading a little bit here, because you have to remember that Nami is going to heal more than Milio in general, because Milio's heal is only on his W. The cooldown on W is really long, and the heal is slow heal over time like this. But Nami can heal you in a burst and also deal damage. Huge bubble by Nami again, and you're really running down the Milio and the Jinx. So we are getting some good trades. Milio is taking a bunch of damage. He's 1 HP. Nami nearly kills him. I have to flash forward to kill. Jinx actually flashes away in fear as well. And Jinx now also has to pop both of her summoner spells. So pretty much all summoner spells have been popped in the lane with the exception of the Nami flash. But we are able to get a kill off of that. We are pretty low, but we are not in very big danger here. Because Jinx cannot really kill us. Of course, there is a chance that Master Yi could come and kill us, but hopefully that's not the case. So here we are going to be able to back and pick up our Gluttonous Greaves as well as another longsword, continuing to build towards our Bloodthirster. Now I do think that actually, I've been playing a lot of Zeri recently. I actually have like a 8-9 match winning streak on Zeri. And I actually think that Zeri is not as bad as I ranked in my tier list. Now this is kind of the real reason why you always see fluctuations in my ADC tier list, is because it's obviously the role that I play, and my opinion of the champions in the role will change over time as I play, more or less of them. Sometimes I think a certain champion is really weak, but I play a lot of it, I think it's it's actually not that weak, like MF for example in the last tier list that I made. Or sometimes I think a champion is pretty strong, and then I play it and I'm like, not really. So like maybe for example a champion like Caitlyn or Lucian, I think is a little bit overrated, at some points in time. So here Milio is alone, and we can see this because his support item is not lit up. So we actually go hard on him, and then Jinx shows up. Milio is running for the hills, but we already know he has no summoner spells based on our previous encounter. So we run him down, he dies, and now Jinx is taking a bunch of damage under the tower as well. Now the real problem here is that I'm Zeri, and Zeri is a champion that sucks at diving because you can't attack the enemy if they're standing behind their tower, because you can only attack the tower. So really difficult to dive with a champion like Zeri, so we can't really pull it off. We're one hit away from getting the plate here, so we're really greeding over this plate. We come back over. The minions are probably going to get the plate. Yes, they do, so we're going to run away with that plate in hand and look for a reset, because both me and Nami have no mana at this point. We've obviously got the kill on Milio. We're 1k gold up on the Jinx. And Jinx cancels my back, so unfortunately for me, this means I'm gonna have to stick around. Now we know Master Yi is in mid, so we know we're not gonna get dived. And the reason why we must stick around is because if we don't, we're gonna lose more than 2 minions, because two or more minions, because they've managed to push in the wave all the way to tower already. So I really need to grab the wave. I'm making sure that they can't kill me under tower. So I am able to at least grab the passive gold and XP. Didn't get the last hit on every minion there, but I did at least get passive gold and XP from those that I couldn't last hit. But with that, we're going to be able to recall and yes, and get all of the Bloodthirster components. Of course, we still have a huge lead against the Jinx. Now, Jinx did not go for any boots. Instead, she's rushing a collector first item. Now, I'm not sure about this one. It doesn't give you any attack speed whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure collector is never built on Jinx. But this Jinx has a collector. Yeah, pretty weird build by the Jinx. So anyways, we're back in lane. We can see that Jinx is not yet back in lane because Milio's support item is not lit up. Now it is, so we know she's right behind him. That's a really useful tip to know whether or not the enemy is actually alone or not, as in enemy support, that is. So we're just going to continue on to lane. Now both Jinx and Zeri scale very well. It's a very common pick into each other, because generally if you pick if an enemy picks a scaling ADC, you want to pick a scaling ADC as well to match the scaling. Now here I'm trying to run down the Milio. He actually heals quite a bit, and he exhausts me, so I take a little bit of time here. Now I'm running back to my team. Morgana's trying to root me, but the tether actually breaks. Could have been a little bit of a sticky situation if the root actually connected there, but unfortunately did not, because she chose to break the tether herself. Now we're just blasting her over the wall. Whilst our team is taking the dragons. Only a mountain dragon, so it's going to be a mountain soul this game, which is one of the least important souls. In my opinion, Morgana does end up dying to Ahri. Now Ahri hits a charm, and because I'm Zeri, I can dash over the wall and follow up and actually kill the Jinx. Now if I was not Zeri there's no way we would have gotten that kill unless I was able to flash over and follow up, but because I'm Zeri, I'm able to W through the wall and E through the wall to get off all of my damage while I haven't even yet reached the fight. And by the time I do, I finish her off and we get the kill. So that kill also nets us additional tower plate. And I have no mana, so I have to reset. Nami is low on resources as well, so she is going to reset as well. So now we're going to reset, pick up our Bloodthirster completion, and maybe get some components for the Runaan's Hurricane. Yep, we get the Nash's Talon here. So we are, in a really good spot. We are getting really fed. Now, of course, this is not going to happen every game. But when you start to get fed on a late game champion like Zeri, like Vayne, like Jinx even, the game is probably gonna go pretty well. So now there's gonna be a huge fight at Herald. We can see Melio Hex getting down to the Herald already. So we know that Jinx is alone. Now this is I wouldn't say it's a huge mistake by Melio, but this does mean that his Jinx has to play around the fact that she has no support and the enemy team knows it. So she can't be defending this tower. She has to be running away, and that's exactly what she's doing here. We can easily get that tower, finish off that tower, and it's not even first tower of the game because the Jax, he's 5-1 by the way. He has already gotten the first tower. He has a 3k gold lead against our Yasuo, and you can see that in terms of the total team goal, it's about the same. Mainly because the Jax has such a huge lead, just like how I have a huge lead against Jinx. Now here we're coming on a really weak flank. Master Yi is jumping onto me. I'm just gonna hop over the wall, trying to blast the Master Yi. I'm trying to stack up my little tempo. I'm not ulting yet until now. I'm trying to now turn the fight, but Jax stuns me, and his whole team is just whacking me down, and I do end up dying and giving the shutdown over to the already very fed Jax. So you can see Jax, he's at 8.5k gold, and I'm the most fed member on my team. I'm at 7k gold, or almost 7k gold, and Jax is really becoming a problem. Now the main thing about this Jax is that he's actually not really building very damagey kind of build. He's actually mainly building Heartsteel and Divine Sunder. Now Divine Sunder is obviously meant to counter tanks, kind of counters Yasuo to a little bit, sorry, not Yasuo, Aatrox to a certain extent, I guess. Does give him a decent amount of healing, and Heartsteel does make him really tanky, but it doesn't really give him a lot of actual damage. So there is some kind of hope here because he has a little bit more of a tanky build compared to what he could have had. Lastly, we know he's recalling in there, so we're just going to go over, blast him, looking for the kill. He unfortunately somehow actually escapes. Melio heals him up, and we actually get stunned here by the Morgana. But Morgana is going to pay the price instead. We're going to flash forward, finish off the kill on the Morgana. Aatrox is going ham. The cleanse comes out from the Melio ulti as well as the huge heal. And here we are trying to look for something, but it's getting a little bit dangerous because whenever we fight in this position, it's very close to the enemy base. So any enemy can always just recall, run to the fight, and they're going to reach there in a jiffy. Now, Aatrox is going into our jungle to try to, Jax is going to our jungle to try to kill Aatrox. Now here, I think this is a mistake from him. We can collapse on him as multiple people. He flashes into the tower, gets CC'd by the Nami. I'm trying to get the shutdown on him, but unfortunately Aatrox steals the shutdown. And yeah, that's not good. So here instead we're going to come over, we're going to try to kill the enemy bot lane, which as you can see at this point is not really even too big of a challenge because the Jinx and the Melio are so far behind. We're basically farming kills off of them. Morgana shields the Melio, does not land the root, and Melio and Morgana both survive on relatively little HP. We get actually 225 gold from the Jax shutdown, so that kind of just shows you how fed he really was right there, that we got so much gold just off of the assist. But here we are going to back and complete our Runaan's Hurricane. Ahri actually finishes the kill on Melio, but we don't actually get an assist, obviously, because the timer has run out. So here we are going to finish off the Runaan's Hurricane, and we are obviously at a huge power spike, building to a shield bow now, because Runaan's is always going to be a item that's good on Zeri, just because it allows you to hit people who are not in front, and Also because with Lethal Tempo's bonus range, we said that like Runans, I don't know if it's a bug or it's a feature, but you're able to attack people outside of your attack range, which is pretty nuts if you think about it. So here, the enemy jungler is kind of in the lane, so we're actually running him down so that we can get the dragon without him interfering. I get rooted by Morgana, which could have been dangerous, but fortunately no one actually follows up. Masti is able to escape, but has to actually burn his ult, which is a huge teamfight tool that he's missing. You always know how Masti goes ham and resets with his ulti. Now here we are focusing the dragon. We just need our jungler to actually smite it, which he does. No biggie. And here the Masti actually hops over and tries to steal, which actually leads to him just straight up dying. And now my team is going in for the fight. I'm kiting away from the Jax and I'm just blasting people down. Milio gets caught, Milio dies. Jax is hardcore committing onto the Nami but doesn't quite get her. I'm able to dash across the wall because I'm Zeri, and I'm able to finish off the kill onto the Jax. Now at this point, we do have a wave in mid, and we do have everybody alive. It's a clean 5-4-0 ace, so at this point we can, you know, just destroy the enemy towers and probably get the mid lane inhib. Obviously we know mid lane inhib is not very valuable in terms of an inhib because mid lane pressure is not really a very big deal compared to side lane. Side lane inhibs are generally better because it forces the enemy team to respond to the side and the waves have more distance to stack up to huge waves. But of course mid lane inhib basically means you generally are going to have mid lane priority, so it's not all bad. It just could have been better. So here we complete the shield bow. I just realized we have all red items. We have Runans, we have BT, we have shield bow, we have the Gluttonous Greaves. All of them are red items. It's going to be some kind of red build. But anyway, here we are going to top to clear out the wave that is clearly stacking up. So this kind of what I was talking about, which is that on side lanes, waves have more distance to stack up. Especially if you know, inhib is down, you're going to stack up, you know, all of those super minions. So here a huge fight is happening, but I'm actually going to take the Hex Gate down to the fight. Which is a little bit dangerous because people could have cut me off, but no one actually does, and I'm able to come in with my ulti and get the kill, get the double kill actually, and now I'm just running people down basically. And here I get the triple. I'm flashing forward for the quadra, and I'm trying my best to chase down the Jax for the penta. Jax jumps back in for the 3-man stun, and I get the penta kill here onto the Jax, which is of course amazing. Now, here we're going on to Baron, and Aatrox actually is pinging for the end, but I'm looking at the timers, I'm thinking that I don't think 15 seconds on Jinx and Miriam is going to be enough to end, because by the time we push in the wave to the Nexus, I think that's going to be 15 seconds, and I believe that they will be respawning to clear the wave. So I don't think we can end, so I decided to go for the Baron instead, which is of course going to give us guaranteed pressure, and maybe we can use the Baron to end. So here Aatrox picks up the red buff, I'm able to get the buff share, both recall and reset to get items. At this point I pick up my QSS because I don't want to get caught by Morgana for example, or Jax stun for that matter, and then I'm picking up the anti-heal just to counter Jax, Master Yi, you know, and Milio in general. Anti-heal very useful here. So our TX is going down mid, and here there are basically two options to the TX. Number one, we go push side lane and get inhibitor. Number two, we try to use it mid for a game-ending push, and we're clearly going for the game-ending push. However, I don't have my flash, my ghost, or my ult because I used it all in the last fight to get the penta, so I'm a little bit apprehensive about this. You can see I'm just hovering around the back of the fight because I don't want to get caught and give a shutdown. But it looks like my team pretty much has the fight covered. Now I'm starting to open up and DPS onto whoever I can hit. Basically, again, I'm just DPSing whoever I can hitting first target. I'm now hitting Jax a little bit underneath the tower. Nexus, I take a Nexus tower shot, but the TX is more or less able to finish off the game with the help of my auto attacks, and there we have the dub. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll leave you guys with the stats as usual.